He did it. Like, he finished it.
When?
It was like last October or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just parallel thought, and it's really just a matter of time.
I didn't know he did that.
Until someone nails it.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily want to be the first person to do it, but I mean, you want to do it well.
I safeguard my ideas, but
what's up?
I safeguard my ideas. I've released some ideas.
Yeah.
The guy I'm dating, he's a producer, and I've given him ideas.
Are we recording? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Last Word Podcast. I'm
Hello.
Gino. This is my guest.
Which camera am I staring at?
We have 3 cameras.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
That's your
one.
camera. That's my camera.
Awesome.
And this is our wide shot.
It's called The Last Show Podcast?
The Last Word Pod.
The Last Word Podcast.
W-E-R-D.
But this will be your last show for sure.
Okay.
Just kidding.
With any luck. My lovely and talented guest, Angelina Celeste.
Angelina Celeste.
That's right. Woo woo.
Yes.
I'm imagining people clapping.
I mean, I hear it.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also schizophrenic, so.
Okay. Mildly heavy? Okay.
Nah.
Being in comedy, I do have friends who are schizophrenic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't like to say the whole word. I say they're schizzy.
I feel like we're all a bit skitsy.
I mean, we're all crazy. I worry about people who don't know it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, would you know you're schizophrenic? I feel like the whole thing with schizophrenia is you believe in what you're seeing.
It's kind of like, have you ever taken hallucinogens?
Not intentionally. I was roofied acid in Amsterdam once. The only time.
Roofie's roofie, but
yeah, but I experienced
you were given unconsensually some hallucinogen. Yes. How did that go for you? Was it heavy? Was it light?
I mean, it was pretty dang heavy. It was on my birthday.
It was on your birthday?
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's not recently, but yeah.
It's not something you want to take unintentionally.
No.
And like, it's also not something you want to abuse because you come to some realization. Did you come to realizations?
No, I thought, no, it was awful.
It was awful.
The realization I had was, God, I don't even know.
People suck.
I mean,
you have to watch your drink.
The realization I had was if you think it's storming and you're wrapped up in a sleeping bag in a minivan thinking you're hiding away from the rain and storm, it might not be raining and storming.
The lesson you got was look outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's a huge lesson.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that was a lesson though, or?
I feel like I was in a little safe bubble by myself, and that was probably the best thing for me.
You felt good and safe in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just learned to get the fuck out.
And there maybe kind of was a storm going on around you. You're like, I know that I'm in a spot where I can't interact with the rest of the world.
Yep.
You were aware of it. I mean, I guess that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about one friend in particular, and I've talked to other people, like not at length, but they understand when they're having an experience that isn't a shared experience with everybody else. And so they might as well think of it as fake. I have my own theories, like, okay, maybe what they're seeing is real on a dimensional level, but it's not helpful to know everything.
Yeah.
Was it an evolutionary biology teacher told me, intelligence is measured not so much but what you can pay attention to, but what you can tune out. And so that's where we get like ADD, ADHD, focus, the ability to focus. Yeah.
Yeah. I read this book that actually kind of fucked me over. It was about like not overthinking, because you get stuck in overthinking.
Yeah.
And then it holds you back.
I do that.
It's good to have a thought, but like to overthink is really just you not moving forward.
Yeah.
So for like a week, I practiced this whole thing and just not thinking. Like if I was thinking something, I would catch myself and be present in the moment.
Yeah.
And then I think by the end of the week, I like snapped because I was just so full of emotion. So finally, like one thing hit me, and then it all came like.
This was the thing that happened to you.
Well, yeah, I think it's good to think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like the same thing.
But you can be paralyzed by your choices.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because if you run like my brother has severe ADHD, the most severe case I've maybe ever seen.
What does that mean?
ADHD?
Well, I know what that means, but what would that mean?
I think
like, what does it look like?
More people say that they're ADHD that just have ADD.
It's annoying.
And I feel like ADD is just part of like the human condition. It's just like we started labeling it, you know?
Yeah.
Like you're not meant to sit still. We're animals, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But ADHD, he's super hyperactive, and when he feels cornered, which is easy for him to feel, he can exhibit really antisocial tendencies. So, or like extreme jealousy. He only experiences things on a very extreme level. It's kind of just like on the other side of bipolar.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
he does. I noticed that him and people that have a similar condition, like they'll kind of live a thing out. And I notice it just in the general population. They'll live a thing out before it ever has a chance to happen, and they'll just decide that works or that's stupid or whatever.
That's how I view skydiving.
Did you skydived, right?
No.
No?
But I've lived it out in my head.
In my mind, I saw you skydiving.
Yeah, the
I'm like, I bet
parachute
she
never
skydived.
opens, so
Yeah?
I'm fucked. So I'm like, I've already
You're
seen
like, I
it
don't
through.
need that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need to.
Yeah. Depends on where I'm at in my headspace, because every once in a while,
Yeah.
and I don't know if I'm going to offend anybody,
Okay.
you know, I would never unalive myself.
Yeah.
But, you know, you have those moments where you're like, oh, this is so frustrating.
Yeah.
So I get to this point where I'm like, maybe I should go skydiving. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
Like when I'm just numb, I'm like, I should go skydiving.
And you're like, have you ever seen the show The Great?
No.
Okay. So it's a really great show.
I was going to say, is there another part to the name, or is it just called The Great?
The Great. It's about Catherine the Great.
Okay.
It's like loosely based on the story of Catherine the Great. Like the main staples of the story are true, but you know, it's good television. And the last part of the last season, she just decides to have the guards put two guns next to each other every day, and so she plays Russian roulette to see if she's meant to be queen.
Okay.
And that's kind of, I feel like that's like it's not a similar thing because you more than likely would,
Yeah.
your chute would open
I mean,
because
it
you
would,
jump
I'm
tandem
sure.
too, and the other person cares about their life.
Yeah. I guess I forget about that when I see it through. I'm always like holding on to it myself. I will say though, a girlfriend and I, we were in Vegas for about a week, but we were heading back home and we were at the airport and we get on the shuttle and this guy, just like a regular guy, confidently walks to the back of the bus and sits next to us. And he's like, and he's probably going to watch this. But yeah, because I ended up following him on Instagram because of this. But he's like, my name's Tom and I just went skydiving and I feel like I can do anything right now, which is why I'm talking to you ladies right now. Because he said that he got like this boost of confidence. Like he could accomplish anything from skydiving.
I had a similar thing happen to me. I got do you know Orange County? No, you don't.
Orange County? Like
I mean, the parts of it. Like, do you know it well?
I know.
There's a place
maybe
called The Wedge.
Disney part.
The Disney part?
Yeah.
The part that's world famous? Yeah.
Yeah.
A friend took me body surfing at a place called The Wedge.
Okay.
I'll just say later that week, someone died body surfing.
Oh, shit.
There. The waves were really crazy, and I had a near-death experience there. Like, it was really tough. And after that, I went up to two girls and tried to, like, talk to them. And my friend didn't tell me that I was still caked from almost being buried under the sand, like with...
There was sand.
There was sand, like, I only knew because I walked away and I scratched my ear, and, like, a cake of sand fell off the side of my head.
Where,
and I'm like...
Where were you when that happened?
We were...
When you talked to the girls. Was it on the beach?
It was on the beach.
Okay. I was like, in my mind, I was thinking airport shuttle. I don't know why, because I said that. So I was like, what were you doing on an airport shuttle with all that sand? But anyway.
Yeah, it's a surfing place.
Yeah, the Wedge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shuttle?
I don't know. I think I was like relating your story too much to mine in detail.
Okay, yeah.
To where you were on a shuttle going to the airport talking to two girls.
You're like, why were you talking to two girls on my shuttle?
Well, just like with sand wedged. But they didn't want to talk to you. They were just like...
No, they were like pleasant or whatever, but they're like, we're going to go get some drinks if you want to go. We work over here at this place. And they're like, oh, no, thanks, you know.
That's
and then
cool.
I scratched my ear, and then like a whole cake of sand fell off the side of my head.
You had like Sebastian on your ear, like an earring.
I must have had like, because I almost got buried. I got pounded into the sand by the waves. Like it was really like, it was really scary. And my buddy was like way too pleased to have had that experience. He's like, dude, we made it. I'm like, I don't like that.
So you're going to go talk to two girls. Maybe near-death experiences are good for guys to talk to girls.
I just feel like it makes you're just like, I don't want to live without regret. I don't want to live with regret. You're just like, if you feel like talking to somebody, you should talk to somebody.
Right.
Like, if that's such a big fear, like I almost faced death. Like that's something I'm really afraid of.
Yeah. God, what? There was a comedian. He was talking about drowning.
Yeah.
for death, like if he were to drown. I think it was Nate Bargatze.
Yeah.
And he's like, if I'm going down, hand me a bag of Lay's potato chips because I'm going down quenched if I'm drowning. Like, give me water.
That's hilarious.
I know. So every time I think of drowning, I'm just like, where's the chips?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I had a few things that I wanted to talk to you about.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're in Groundlings right now.
That is correct. I'm in the advanced, well, it's now called lab track, but it's formerly known as the advanced core track.
Okay.
Right before the writer's lab.
I've just done like the intro to basic. I never actually went in
Was
for
it the core track? Or was it
It's like basic
course
A or
A?
something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
And then because I've done UCB,
Oh, okay.
and which is kind of more of a writer's approach. I think
I
Groundlings
know.
is more of like an actor's approach.
I heard that there might be a wait list to get into the writers program.
Yeah, at UCB.
No,
At
for
Groundlings,
Groundlings, because that's the next one. And then I believe you eventually get, I say it's like an Illuminati type of thing, but
Yeah.
they essentially agree on inviting you to main company.
Okay.
So I'm already anticipating, like, if I do make it through lab track to the writing lab, there's going to be a wait. And I considered UCB, actually, in
UCB
between.
is fun. I mean, I had fun doing it, and they have like sketch writing. So at one time I was storytelling, sketch writing, and improv at the same time. And for a while they had this big campus on Sunset Boulevard.
Okay.
What was it? It was just like a huge creative space with lots of couches. I don't know why I fantasize about giant spaces with couches and coffee.
I mean, maybe that's a sign.
Yeah. Anyway, it's not there anymore. So that was also a sign. Were you a theater kid?
No. Well, actually,
Because you
how
can
do
sing,
I say
right?
this? Yeah.
You got pipes.
I mean, I say I have pipes for improv, but no, I was actually singing. Gosh, I was in choir from like 3rd grade all the way through high school, and like different branches of choir too.
So that's in your bones. That's in your soul.
Yeah. So I did that. I was in band, marching band. I did percussion, so I was drums.
Okay.
So I wasn't, sorry guys, a complete nerd.
Not a complete nerd.
Not a complete nerd. I mean, I
Because
was still
the drummers
in
are
choir.
still cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, we're like way cool.
Okay.
You know?
All right. Like way cool, bro.
Yeah, the flute people are down there, like
Yeah.
sticking it up their vaginas.
Their
Can I say that?
Yeah. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's
No,
not-
it was cool. But yeah, I did like auxiliary percussion, so like the timpani, xylophone, snare drum,
Yeah.
stuff like So
Do you feel like you know rhythm because of that?
Oh yeah.
I'm a big music guy.
Yeah.
I play like not great, but I play
What do you play?
piano and guitar.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And I also sang for like a little while.
That's
in
cool.
choir.
I think I have a bigger appreciation for jazz. I have a bigger appreciation for jazz because the drums are so, I mean, jazz drums, like it's complex.
Like
and-
Anderson .Paak is a jazz drummer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So I really like that stuff. But as far as like being a theater kid, I definitely was in drama and stuff. But I don't know. I just kind of like did everything. But I always gravitated towards the arts.
But you clearly like you want to do something performative. Like you feel like that's what.
You know, it's funny. Like I have thought about this so many times. I mean, I used to live in Germany, and
I wanted to talk about that next too, because I've been following you for like close to a year now, and like you did the whole Eat, Pray, Love.
I mean,
shit.
I did.
Yeah.
I moved there when I was 16, and then my family left when I was 18.
Well, I never watched the movie, so I don't know exactly what it is. But I'm just saying, you've been around the world, you've done volunteer work.
I was in
taught,
Germany
right?
till I was 21, but while I was there, I was like 19 years old, living in a flat with my German boyfriend.
Yeah.
And
so you know German?
Ich sprechen Sie Deutsch, aber it's nicht so good. Like it's
okay. I got it.
It's been years,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I was there for 5 Jahre. Like I can say enough.
5 Jahre.
Ich möchte einen Kaffee bitte. Like I know how to get by.
All right.
Basically. But I just remember at like 19, like we would just smoke a shit ton of weed and we would watch Seinfeld, King of the Hill, The Simpsons. Like in where we were at, you had to go and buy DVD box sets to watch anything. So we would just like binge stuff. Like Sunny in Philadelphia was a newer show, Kenny versus Spenny. But Seinfeld was like one of those shows that I really grew an appreciation for. And at 19, I'd already, and this is something I had to let go, and it's
Yeah.
already being pitched on behalf of someone else. And they're like, we're going to make sure this gets out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I wrote down my first like TV show, like the
Yeah.
concept, which come to find out it's the log line. So like
Oh,
the
the
log
log
line
line.
of the show, like
Yeah, there's lots of
the
stuff
premise, but I'd already developed the characters, the scenarios that, you know, was going to happen with them, but it was like a mockumentary style thing.
Yeah.
And I hadn't watched The Office yet. I hadn't
Yeah.
seen Parks and Rec. So it was really just based off of Seinfeld, but I'd held on to this, and then I'd lived like years and years, like over 10 years of a life. And I almost feel like I came full circle by accident.
What do you mean?
Like, I don't
You
know.
started a certain way, you went around, you came back
Yeah,
the same way.
so like, you know, that relationship ended. I moved to Texas. I was going to school for radio and television broadcasting. My ex cheated on me, so I was like, fuck this.
That's
And I
gonna happen,
left. Yeah, it happens. He was
Yeah.
young. But yeah, like then I kind of did I don't know, like a 180, I guess. And then I became a Mormon, like very devout.
You became a Mormon, so
I
you
mean,
weren't already Mormon.
I was converted when I was like 10 or 11, but I wasn't a good Mormon.
Are you from Utah?
No,
Okay.
no. People think I am, but no, I was not a good Mormon.
Were you a Christian before you were Mormon?
Non-denominational.
Non-denominational, but
Yeah.
you believed in a Christian God.
Honestly, I didn't then,
No?
and I don't really now. But
Uh-huh.
I think like I thought my life went to shit because I wasn't following things. So then
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna try. You know, like this was a lot to handle. But then I just kind of followed. I got married after knowing a guy for 2 months who is Mormon.
Okay.
That's normal in Utah.
Yeah. It's normal when you're religious.
It is
Yeah.
because you can't have sex till you're married.
It's
I had
also
already
normal
had
when you're in
sex
the
with
armed
one
forces, I
guy.
guess, yeah.
Huh?
Oh, people in the military also get
Yeah.
married really
Oh,
fast.
for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you former military?
No, but
Okay. You look like you would be.
yeah, I have the shoulders for it. But
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
and the haircut.
And the haircut. That's just laziness. I don't want to have to do my hair.
But yeah, I feel like at that time, I just kind of gave in to being the more submissive, supportive type
Uh-huh.
to this Mormon husband for like 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then
That's a whole last life.
I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And no kids came of that.
One did.
Okay.
Towards
yeah.
the end, she's amazing.
Hell
But yeah, like I don't know. I just kind of lost it, I guess. And I ended up here and found myself at Groundlings. had no idea who the alumni were.
You found yourself a groundling.
Yeah, I was trying to find something fun to do
Yeah.
to kind of like, I don't know, just feel like I had something exciting to look forward to. And that's when I did what you did
What's that?
in the beginning. You did, I think it was course A, course
Course
B.
A. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I found out who the alumni were, and then
Okay.
I found out they had a writers program, and like,
Yeah.
and everything just kind of came full circle
Yeah.
in a way.
So when you say you started at a point, you started, I guess, what was the circle, I guess, is what I'm asking.
The full circle to me is that I was 19 in a flat in Germany, like coming up with my first TV series.
Yeah.
And
And then
it's
you came back
already
to groundlings.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I've already released it. I had a good conversation with someone who's already like well established, and he
Yeah.
was like, honestly, sometimes you just need to let things go.
Mm-hmm.
And because when you're a creative, you're constantly coming up with ideas.
Yeah.
And I was holding on to this like it was my baby.
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of looking at it as more of like a proof of concept.
I used to safeguard my ideas, but it's almost like Conan O'Brien said, is like, okay, something that might be a mental illness is something that you profit off of.
Yeah.
And that's what creativity kind of is. It's just like, it's not something you can even necessarily take credit for. Your brain does it.
Yeah.
And you're just, if you're lucky enough, then you find a way to make something out of that.
Yeah.
But like, I'm like, if someone steals one or two of my ideas, I feel like that's maybe the best thing that can happen, just for me to be understood as someone creatively useful.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm gonna have more. Like,
For sure.
the day I run out of ideas, like that one idea that I had, I'm not gonna be able to give it legs because I'm gonna forget how to even make it work, you know?
Yeah. I'm in an interesting position right now where the person that I gave it to
Yeah.
is in the best position
Yeah.
to do something with it.
Mhm.
Like he's already got like the budget. They're already looking at him. They're like, okay, cool. Like, what do you got? Like,
Yeah.
give us ideas. So that's what I did. I was just like, I'm going to give this to you and I'm going to see if they like it because I have other ideas for
Yeah.
other shows. And if they like this, then I know I'm on the right track.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
That's amazing. I'm jealous of anyone who can like find the right person to talk to.
I know.
There's a
Well,
comedian out there who he's been at it for like a year and a half, and he just was smart enough to say like, I'm just gonna write jokes and say nothing but the jokes. I'm not gonna come up with weird, edgy concepts or whatever. And he was already in showbiz. Like he used to produce rap videos, so he just kind of knows the
Yeah.
industry enough, you know. And in his first year, he was able to just like talk to a couple people and like start getting on the road and opening for professional comics.
this coffee's really good.
Yeah, it's really good, right? Yeah,
It's really good.
yeah,
But yeah, no, it's interesting. So I'm just kind of waiting it out to see what happens with that
Yeah.
concept and see if it just gets picked up. Because if it does, that's a good sign for me.
yeah,
But I have other ideas, so.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm at the Groundlings, and yeah, I feel like I
You have
came
a
full
solo
circle.
show.
Well, I don't have one yet.
You don't have one
But
yet.
I am working on one. I did do a storyteller's workshop with someone who works within that space of doing solo shows, and he said you should put together a solo show for this story that you told. I mean, my whole story, like he's like, this should be a solo show,
Yeah.
and yeah, I'm gonna be doing that
Okay.
based off of like I think just becoming Mormon and then leaving and then the weird obscurity of me doing some sexual deconstruction
Yeah.
and then accidentally finding myself in weird places and speaking to weird people like Hung 69 or you know just
Yeah.
like Mormon bishops were like messaging me and just it's a very interesting life I had for a brief moment.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's even more interesting though is I left a space because I was like, I find more for myself personally, female empowerment is choosing who has access,
Yeah.
you know, and that's something I learned. It's not a one size fits all. That's just me.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm like really like getting into the comedy scene, improv, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing more women in the comedy scene really like being sexually explicit. And I think it's great.
Have you seen the clowns?
I haven't, but I saw Natasha Figueroa take her top off after
They're
Bert Kreischer.
very hypersexual. The clowns, I would never. I mean, I guess that makes sense. For some reason, hypersexuality and comedy have always shared a large part of a Venn diagram. Like, my mom raised me gay, so I've seen a lot of musicals.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Gypsy? No. Okay. Anyway, the last dying like throes of vaudeville are happening, or like they're up in a burlesque house.
Okay.
You know? And so like burlesque and vaudeville just kind of like exist in the same place.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like it's just really weird. These a friend of mine who's, you know, she's a feminist, but she tries not to be a bad one or whatever, you know, but she's just like, why is there always a dude's genitals in a woman's face? Like, but I don't know if she's been to too many clown shows. That's just like a theme, I guess, that she's
Is that
noticed.
a theme of this clown show? Genitals and women's faces?
I think some clown shows, I haven't been
I
to them.
don't know
I
what the
can't
fuck
speak
you're
for
talking
them.
about.
But
A
she's
clown
saying
show?
she's saying that there's in the clown shows. So like if you go to Silver Lake to what's it called, the Lyric Hyperion,
Mm-hmm.
there's Clown Church, or if you go to the Elysian Theater on Thursdays, there's it's like play something, but it's an open mic. It's
Is
a
it
clown
like
open
waka
mic.
waka burp burp clowns? Like red nose?
I honestly don't know. I haven't been because
Okay.
I feel like once I get in there, I'm gonna
Want to put your genitals in a woman's face?
or my own. I don't know.
That would be very interesting to watch.
It's like tickling yourself. It's hard to get a sensation, you know.
Or dickling.
Dickling, that's what it is.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a better term for it.
But anyway, yeah, there's a Paul 5000 or something. I forget exactly her name, but she's like supposed to be like she's a human, but she's
Yeah.
her shtick is she's an animatronic sex bot or something like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, like a fembot.
Like a fembot.
Yeah. Interesting.
So it's all very hypersexual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool. Honestly, when Natasha did that, I was like, hell yeah. I wanted to get that image of her put on a t-shirt because I thought
Yeah.
it was so cool. And she's a mom.
Yeah.
So I know for her, like, well, you know, I don't know if you know this, but Utah passed a bill where women can actually be topless and show nipple,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought that was kind of funny. I'm like, of all the things that women have been fighting for in Utah,
Yeah.
you know, whoever's in charge was like, all right, fine, you can show your titties.
We'll
like,
give them free the nipple.
yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Like, that's okay, cool. So, like, women are like, yeah, but then
Yeah.
they're also like, oh,
Okay.
Okay, but then they
That's a weird
banned
one.
porn.
Yeah. Oh, they banned porn, but
Oh
you
yeah,
can
they
show your
banned
titties.
Pornhub, everything in Utah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I understand that Texas is also taking some extra measures against Pornhub, or
I mean, everyone can download a VPN.
I guess so. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've always been too lazy to
Right.
Google anything that takes more than 3 steps.
Yeah, but then it just pushes people to the weird sites that are probably like not so great.
That's kind of one thing I always say. Like whenever you make something illegal, then you push it to these shady elements. Like I don't know if you ever
Dark web.
the what now?
The dark web.
Yeah, shit like that. Did you smoke weed as a kid?
I started smoking weed when I was probably like 17 or 18 with my ex-boyfriend.
Did you have to go to? Oh, were you in Germany already?
I was, but it's very illegal in Germany
Yeah,
to smoke.
so
Yeah.
you probably had to go to weird, strange, seedy places.
I mean, like, the basement of like a apartment complex that wasn't ours. Yeah, we had to like do some weird shit, and then we eventually just got our own place. And
you also have to meet weird people and meet them in weird places.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's yeah.
And
Yeah.
now you get a weed sommelier.
Here.
Yeah. And they tell you how the weed is and how you're gonna feel, and
It's super taxed though.
it is super taxed.
Yeah.
I always wonder what they're doing with the tax. Nobody else seems to wonder.
I mean,
I'm a big
you can Google it.
audit the taxes guy, but I don't want to say it too loud because I don't want to be on a list, But I'm like, hey, why don't you
Yeah.
look out for yourself once in a while?
I don't know. I feel like now that it's available to me, like I don't smoke as much of it as I used to
Yeah.
because it's available to me.
I don't smoke as much of it as I used to because I've done a horrible number on my lungs.
Ooh.
And I have a super low tolerance, and no amount of being a pothead ever changed that for me.
Okay.
So I'm just the most boring person on earth to be around.
What about edibles?
Oh yeah, I take 5 milligrams once a week. It's therapeutic.
Just once a week?
Maybe twice. Like,
Okay.
if it rains, I have a rule. If it rains, I want to get high when it rains,
Yeah.
and I want to get high and go for a drive when it rains.
Oh, for a drive.
So much fun.
Okay.
I don't know. You're just because you're hazy in your mind and it's hazy outside.
I mean, it sounds dangerous, but
Well, I mean, I don't get so high.
oh yeah. I mean,
I take 5
5
milligrams.
milligrams. I usually take it before I go to sleep
Yeah.
to help me go to sleep sometimes because
Yeah.
it just like
That's the other thing. If I take it before I go to bed, I'm gonna wake up high.
like
Super low tolerance. Sometimes I'll take
geez.
2.5 milligrams.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's got the CBD in it, so it takes the
Yeah.
edge off.
It is nice. I enjoy taking edibles and
Yeah.
just like working and like collaborating and coming up with ideas.
I do. I get
and-
like lots of awesome ideas. It makes me a little more optimistic too. The CBD, I think, is really more responsible for that part of it.
I've come up with some epic movies
Yeah.
that I've written down. I have so many shows and movie ideas just written down in a notes tab.
I've written like 3 books that nobody will ever give a shit about.
Have you already published them?
I mean, I've self-published one of them just so I
Okay.
could have something to show for. So since my
Ooh.
girlfriend is super, she's like, we have a lot of overlap, but like we basically fill in the blanks for the other person not being a whole human being,
Okay.
So I always say she taught me about credit and I taught her how to wash her pussy. So
That's a good exchange.
together we're a human,
What's your guys' zodiac signs?
Yeah, I've only ever dated women who are Leos or Geminis.
Okay. Okay, and what's yours?
Libra.
Oh my gosh, the guy I'm seeing is a Libra.
Yeah.
And I'm a
She's
Gemini.
Yeah.
But I am Leo, Moon, Scorpio rising.
Yeah. I don't know what the rest of it means.
People freak out whenever I say I'm a Scorpio rising. And I'm just like, what?
Are you going to do stand-up comedy?
I've been told to do it so many times.
Yeah.
People have actually, because I think they get confused with what improv is.
You actually might have more fun in the clown scene, and your
I
personality
don't know if I
might
want
go
a male's
farther.
genitals in my face.
I feel like you can. It's a very, I don't even know what I'm talking about.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't
You
think it's a
started off
prerequisite.
talking about that clown place with genitals and women's faces.
I was
and,
just trying to explain how it seems very hypersexual. But yeah, a friend of mine does have a
like,
problem
is it
with,
actual genitals? Like, people actually pull out genitals?
I mean, people actually get naked on stage.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
and I love that women are so free. Like my friend Mimi, she's
Yeah.
doing like a stepmom comedy show, and like they even make reference like getting stuck in the dryer, and I'm like, been there, done that. Like for me, I'm just like, I don't know. Like I'm
Yeah.
having so much fun
Yeah.
because I feel like I'm so balanced now and
Yeah.
knowing like who I am, what I can give to the world. And I think I just like in my life recently, I gave too much
Yeah.
to try to explore boundaries.
Stand-up comedy is definitely a thing that like will, at least initially, take your ego down a peg.
Well, I definitely know how to tell men no.
Yeah.
Which I think is a very strong thing, because I've heard from women that you, like one of my good friends, Madison, she had said, you know, you got to be careful because some of the men can be a bit predatory in the comedy scene.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful with like what you say and do. And I was just like, I really appreciate that advice,
Yeah.
you know, because yeah, but I feel like for me, I know how to chew someone up and spit them out very easily.
Yeah.
And just, it's simple. Honestly, you just say, no,
Yeah.
leave me alone.
What was it? There was I forget
and
who.
then bear spray them.
I forget who had this joke, but they're like, okay, so here's just a really quick way to, if someone's coming on to you and you really don't want none of it, you say, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have any money.
Yeah.
I just thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, I'm sure you've been there and done that.
I don't know. I feel like back in the day, I used to do the whole like, I have a boyfriend, or like,
Yeah.
oh, sorry. Like,
Yeah.
you know, but now I'm just like, I'm not interested.
Yeah. You're just like, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, that's it. I
Anything
feel like
more
we
than that
overcomplicate things as women. We're people pleasers by nature.
Yeah.
So I think we tend to like want to make sure the other person's okay with the rejection. Like,
Yeah.
it's a no from me, but are you okay? So we'll find the softest blow response.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, it's a no. So I feel like I could do stand up with that. But
I'm having a shit ton of fun, but we're running short on time. So I just want to make
Yes.
sure that I'm covering everything that I wanted to talk about. Oh, you did this really cool music video.
oh yes,
I mean, it
the
wasn't
Barbie
your
one.
song.
No, it wasn't my
It
song.
was Shika, not Shika.
It was Ash Nico.
Ash Nico, thank you.
Yeah, so it's funny. That was actually just supposed to be a photo shoot. And my
Yeah.
friend Cody, he's really big on like the video visuals
Yeah.
and stuff. So he was like, do you mind if I also make a video of this? And I was like,
Yeah.
sure, go ahead. And
It was so cool.
it was. And you want to know something? I didn't
Yeah.
get enough pictures, but that's
Yeah.
okay because the video was really cool.
But
But
just pull stills or whatever.
I am doing another one actually. And spoiler alert, it is the inspo is Jennifer Coolidge,
Yeah.
but it's like her early career.
Okay.
To include like, of course,
Isn't that
American
Legally
Pie.
Blonde or?
That,
Yeah,
but
American Pie.
I'm not really doing the Legally Blonde because that's
Yeah.
not how I knew her. I
You're
knew her
doing the
from
American Pie.
well, I knew her from that, and then she's got some other things which I
Yeah.
don't want to say because like
You don't want to ruin it.
I want to. It's like her early career stuff.
I don't even know her early career.
I do.
Yeah.
She came from Groundlings. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. She just
A
got
lot of people who
nominated
just like
and won.
are in the industry. Sorry, I keep on checking because
No, you're good.
yeah. Because I'm just like I don't want to.
I was gonna say, does your guy do the flashing?
I was trying to, and I'll give you an extra 5.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
But yeah, like I'm doing another video and it's gonna be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something I always wanted to do. So I was like really jealous of that.
You could totally do it. You just gotta
Yeah.
pay someone.
Exactly.
And anyone will do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, anyone who. So now at least I know what team I would want to assemble to do a quality product. But because probably the same for you. But like when I hear songs, like videos jump to mind. You
Yeah.
know? And then I even like try to dumb it down to like what's doable. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And even in that, once you're on set and figuring things out, you probably still have to like pair things off because you're like, what is really doable? You know.
Yeah, and that was a really cool shoot. Actually, the guy who was in the shoot with me was a student from Groundlings as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then
The cinematography is great. The style's
yeah,
great.
I like did the whole concept, and the guy
Yeah.
agreed, Chris, and I was just like, all right, cool. So you already said yes. Just so you know, these are your costume pieces. This is what you would be doing. Is it still a yes? Because I
Yeah.
was like, you're gonna wear a clown mask and you're gonna crawl on all fours.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna walk you like a dog. And you're gonna put on a baby mask and look like a weirdo. But yeah,
Yeah.
like we were in a space that we could just keep building on it. So it was really fun.
That's
I love
awesome.
doing stuff like that.
So I guess we'll talk about my pilot just for a second.
Yes.
Yeah. So I shot it last year. I was the sole writer on it, and I tried so hard to get people to write with me, and everyone's just like, "No, it sounds good," or whatever. And I don't know if it's laziness or people are just like so excited to be on a project
Yeah.
or whatever, or maybe just afraid to speak out, like I'm gonna get
I just
angry or
think
something
LA
like
is
that.
funny.
LA is funny.
Mm-hmm.
I've been thinking more and more about how lucky I would have been to do comedy on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Because when I think back, I don't think I can really name many comics that I love who are from the West Coast.
Yeah.
Like pretty much all of them are from Boston or New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't think of any.
But I mean, use the tools that you're given, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah. But so you watched the whole pilot.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So and then you sent me a whole bunch of critiques.
I did.
Yeah.
I know. I was just like, because I talked to Matt first. I was like, should I? Because I felt like
I
there
told
were some
Matt,
things.
I'm like, don't send it to her because it's not the finished product that I would have wanted.
I mean, he sent it, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he's just like,
Or
why
did you
is-"
send it?
No, he sent it.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't have sent it. I would have sent you because the trailer is more of the concept that I wanted. But the full finished product is just like you learn a lot of hard lessons, and I just have to tell myself, okay, that's the money that I would have spent going to film school.
Yeah,
And I got to do a project with
for sure.
good clips, but not a great cohesive first episode.
Yeah. I definitely got Seinfeld vibes off of it, though.
Yeah. I wanted it to just be silly jokes, but like potentially serious. So, okay, so the concept for the series is so what the log line?
Mm-hmm.
Seinfeld meets amateur porn with overtones of Atlanta, meaning cinematic overtones.
I like it.
Yeah.
I really do. And when I watched it in my brain, I was just like, oh, there's so much that like could
That
be
could be done.
added to it.
Yeah.
That would just make it. It's just like it's just the minutia of things. Like,
yeah.
like for example, I remember this one time, you know, because I did work in that space, but
Mhm.
I remember this one time I show up to set and I was like a stepmom, and I have these like two like very young 20s, like they look like they're 19. And I walk in and I'm new and they're just like on their phones. One's wearing lingerie, one's over here just in boxers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hello. And they're just like, they just look up and then they go back on their phones.
Yeah. It's boring as could be.
Like, it's so boring.
Yeah.
And then even just like running lines with them, like they don't care. They just want to go home. Like nobody cares. The director just wants, I mean, there's
Or they're
like,
not trying to sell it. Or,
it's very like, it is very office-y. Like it's
Yeah.
very like boring. And I
Cut
think
and dry.
people get excited. Like they think, oh, adult film is like this great grandiose thing, you know? But really it's just boring.
Yeah.
It's so boring.
It's a job.
It's boring, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Paperwork, lines.
Yeah.
It's so boring.
Figuring out parameters, things like that.
Yeah.
What I found was that, and it's, so again, we were talking earlier about parallel thought, right? So as I was learning this lesson, I saw an interview with Judd Apatow, and he's just like, what I learned was that you have to give the actors the time to make the scene right. And that's one thing we didn't have. We were just constantly running short on time.
Mm.
And then plus, some of the people weren't actors, so they didn't know that like if your arm is here in take one,
Mm-hmm.
your arm needs to be here in every
Yeah.
single take.
Yeah.
And so I had like one rogue actor. She's putting on lotion in the middle of the scene. I'm like, okay, so you have to put on lotion every time we shoot now. And she's like, oh. And I'm like, okay, we just need you to sit still.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I just want to give the line some life. I'm like, the line
Yeah.
doesn't have life. It's
Yeah.
you are just the intensity. You know, just like you need to sit down and sit still. And
Yeah.
there was just these things that like a little bit of time and directing would have fixed.
So you were your own script supervisor
Um,
in a way.
I
Watching
was
and making sure everything was good.
at some points I was able to. My girlfriend's really helpful, and she was able
And
to
you were the
script
director,
supervise.
right?
I was directing.
Okay.
Yeah. And then of course I'm also trying to direct myself,
That's so hard.
which is the whole reason behind doing anything even like this is just so like, because I've done sketches and I've been pleased with them, but like on my comedy, whatever, Instagram, there's just a whole bunch of stuff with other people in it
Mm-hmm.
and not me.
Yeah.
So like, how's anybody gonna know that I'm a person who can do things or whatever?
I mean, everyone's got their talents.
Yeah, yeah.
I took a step back. I've been in the background now for a while.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready to come out now, you know?
Yeah.
But there is power to being in the back because then you can
Yeah.
like vocalize more.
That's kind of what I'm trying to focus on now is I'm looking for maybe 2 or 3 people that I can just focus on figuring out how to direct, you know? And they have to be people with like not much going on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
because they have to sacrifice their time,
Yeah.
and so it can't be that precious.
And they gotta not take pay, I guess. I'm
They gotta not the
assuming.
whole thing. Yeah, yeah. We spent 10 grand on that pilot.
Yeah, you gotta have
Yeah.
someone who's just as passionate as you are. That's how you find the people who will work for free,
Yeah.
you know?
I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. I think we're out of time.
I know, like, I think it's the coffee. We're just chill.
Yeah, yeah. I like it. I've had fun.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'll maybe check out the clowns.
Check out the clowns.
Yeah.
Just check them out. You don't have
Yeah.
to go participate.
I mean,
At least it'll be
ah.
fun to watch them. Check out my favorite clown is Kiki Maroon.
Oh my God, I love Kiki. She's
Yeah.
one of my friends.
She's the best.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I know her. God, hi Kiki, if you're
She's
watching
hilarious and sweet as
this. Yeah, I love her.
I've met her like twice, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only really like met her like once or twice, but I told her I was like, you need to do burlesque with me. Like, I want to be in her show.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do a burlesque bit.
She's
with
now
her.
living out her dream.
In
I think she's in
Vegas.
Texas, Vegas.
I think she's in Vegas with that blow up balloon.
With the giant balloon dog. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And she named it Charlie. Yeah.
I love it. You're
Yeah.
gonna have to tag her.
Yeah.
She's great.
Check out Kiki Maroon. Where can they find you?
Alina.Celeste. That's ELINADOTCELESTE.
Yeah.
On Instagram, and I also have Angelina Celeste Writes on Twitter.
Yeah. What else? Your content on your Instagram is
It's a dumpster fire.
It's daily hilarious shit.
Not daily. I took a break for a bit.
You took a break. So
I
now,
did
are you
for a really
reposting
long
now?
time. Now I'm just feeding it because I was told to keep it going.
Keep it going. Yeah.
I was reaching like over, I don't know, like 200,000 accounts a month.
The
and
content machine is never
now it's
satisfied.
50, but
Yeah.
yeah, like it's once you take that break, because I just didn't, my things are bigger on the outside
Yeah.
of social media, but now I just post whatever I want and I don't care. And I turn the comments off.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just like, I don't even care.
Yeah. Yeah. You might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like if you get negative comments, you're like, oh,
It's not even about that. It's literally me posting something funny and someone being like, you're so hot and beautiful, or like,
you're like, that's not what I was trying to get across.
just like,
Yeah.
I'm not seeking validation. I already know that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
yeah.
Follow me if you don't already. Broken Bougie Comedy on Instagram and TikTok, and Bad Motherfucking Name Gino on Instagram. And look for this episode on YouTube and Spotify.
Sweet. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you for coming. Yeah,
Thanks for the coffee.
of course.